we have these foreign actors who want to sway public opinion in the U.S.
And now there are people making multi-million dollar bets on this.
Polymarket says he's a shoo-in 90%,
Yeah.
therefore don't even go out and vote.
Exactly. You had a big scoop that CZ was going to be pardoned.
The guy that created and co-founded Binance, he's still the largest shareholder.
He said he was going to be pardoned, and he was.
He spent 4 months in jail. He wasn't charged with fraud. He was charged with not having proper controls that allowed, nefarious characters to use Binance as crypto exchange, which is essentially what it is. I don't think he did it he didn't do it on purpose.
They don't have the same know your customer.
Right, it's different. It's an emerging technology. They went back and they fixed the problem. He still faced 4 months in jail. And what I broke is that essentially that Trump was leaning towards a pardon. It was up for debate.
He's been super crypto friendly.
Yeah, and
pardon the Silk Road guy.
Now you see the backlash to the pardon, and this is kind of interesting.
Do you think that's fair? Do you think the backlash is justified?
Let's explain the backlash. First off, the backlash is that Trump is involved in crypto like crazy. He is literally deregulating an industry that's making him his family's business, because he's got that World Liberty Financial and a few other crypto ventures, billions of dollars. So that's the core criticism. And apparently there's some CZ element to his family business as well. Although CZ's lawyer, when I called her, she says, no, it's incidental, and they tried to explain it. Be that as it may, we don't have enough time to get into all that. I would say this, is what Trump's doing sleazy, illegal? Well, there's something called the Emollients Clause. You're not supposed to use your office for personal gain. It's totally disclosed. I mean, one of the fascinating things about Trump is he doesn't do this sort of nefarious stuff through third parties. I mean, there was always the questions about Joe Biden's, family members, other family members, doing stuff, kicking up to him.
Trying to trace the funds, who's the big guy.
Well, you just know.
It led to conspiracies.
Right, you just know the Trump family business. Donald Trump's crypto friendly. He's bending over backwards for them. Everybody is critiquing now Trump. I don't think it'll deter Trump, though. He does not care.
Yeah. Very interesting. Okay, well, on the whole Binance crypto exchange genre, I've been doing some reporting on the prediction markets. And last year, there was a lot of interest
in this.
And who are they?
It's Kalshi is one.
Kalshi and Polymarket are the big two at this point. Now, Kalshi is approved and allowed to operate in the U.S., and American citizens are allowed to place bets. Do
you know how it works?
Yes.
It's kind of an online thing, right?
It's an online, you can go online, you can bet on everything from the price of eggs next month to what the Fed is going to do.
And you put your credit card in and all that?
You put your credit card, Apple, whatever.
Okay.
But people seem to make a lot of money on it. Again, now Kalshi has to abide by the Know Your Customer rules. They are regulated. Polymarket, on the other hand, is not. And so I've been doing kind of a deep dive into where all of that money is coming from. Now, some people can use VPNs to sort of get around the rules because the U.S. citizens aren't allowed to use it. It's not regulated in the U.S. The median bet, though, is typically between $10 and $50, right? It's kind of like people just paying attention, seeing where it's going to go. Well, with the Mamdani mayoral bet, basically betting that he's going to win mayor, there are people making multi-million dollar bets on this.
And coming from overseas?
Coming from, overseas, the Middle East.
It would have to be.
But exchanges, you can trace back. This is actually very interesting. Because the blockchain is this immutable ledger, you actually can trace back where the money is coming from.
And it's the Middle East.
And it's primarily the Middle East.
Now, here's why. Let's just unpack this a little bit, because I think this is what you're suggesting, is that we have these foreign actors who want to sway public opinion in the U.S.
And now
by
these
saying
exchanges, journalists, I mean, I look to them, a lot of people look to them.
But by having us report that Polymarket says he's a shoo-in 90%, therefore don't even go out and vote.
Exactly.
In
How
a
does
week.
that influence public perception
If
somebody, everywhere they look, and there are ads for these prediction markets in Times Square, in Penn Station, how does that influence somebody when they're on their commute and they're like, oh, it's 95% chance
now why should I vote?
Mamdani's going to win? Yeah, screw it. I don't need to go to the polls.
I will say this. I remember just how the betting markets got stuff really wrong over in recent years. So the betting markets had Hillary Clinton beating Trump almost literally to the moment that Trump won Florida. As I go back and check it out.
They had Mitt Romney beating Obama briefly as well.
Right. They had Trump a couple of days before the election losing. to Kamala Harris. So remember, these things are right until they're wrong, and then they're right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, you just got to be careful with this. And yes, there is foreign money being waged. Although I will say this, I don't think it's a stretch to say Mamdani is likely to win this thing. I don't know about, I mean, recent polls show tightening. We still have a week to go, and this is a volatile election.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. So I do think that these betting markets could be wrong, and Cuomo, as bad of a campaign as he ran, could pull this out. Everything is gambling now, though.
Now it's
sick.
now, and we've allowed it, and I
Condoned
think it's really alarming. We're sort of allowing more vices in the U.S.
It's one thing to like throw a little.
Now prostitution might be legal
Listen,
in New York. It's like I don't think that we should. What you allow, in a sense, you encourage. I think we should roll this back. I don't like it. I think allows for the worst instincts.
Let's hit on a couple things that are in the news right now. I know
less grim.
That are less grim. Well, maybe grim. The China deal, China trade talks. Here's the thing: they screwed us once in 2019, gave us COVID.
Yeah.
Why should we trust them here? I mean, I just keep hearing Trump is like,
feels
I got
like
the deal.
TikTok
Xi is a great guy, and then TikTok somehow,
all of this.
Yeah, like. Okay.
We're giving them leverage by being so obsessed with TikTok. If we were willing to take that off the table, I think that would completely
and Trump is obsessed with TikTok. He thinks it won him the election.
At the same time that now there's reports coming TikTok, shockingly, the CCP wants a communist to win in New York, and they've been pushing pro-Mamdani.
Are you surprised by that?
Yeah, okay. And it's been banned by law. I wish this wasn't even on the table.
Well, Trump thinks it won him the election, and he often thinks very short term, and I think he's thinking short term here. I mean, what does China do for us? They steal our intellectual property. They do buy our farm products, and they supply us with really cheap goods, which is both good and bad.
But, if you're concerned about manufacturing in the U.S.,
TikTok is not like a great thing that they're giving us.
That. I know, and that's why they don't allow it in their country.
And by the way, any thoughts on the government shutdown? I'm like, this has been my 15th. I'm old. I'm 63. So how many times have I gone through a government shutdown?
You're old enough
to remember the 15 before.
Look, I think it's such a narrative shift for the Democrats, who have always said, oh, you just pass the clean secret law, you keep the government open, and now suddenly Chuck Schumer is like, actually, no, this is the hill that we're going to die on.
We're going to die for illegal immigrants because we don't want to give them.
Clearly,
remember, this is what it's over.
He passed this bill earlier this year, and now he's dying on this hill because
think about what this
he wants some sort of win for the Democrats, and they think that this is a win for them. I think
it's a little more than that.
And I think it's very short-sighted.
I think it's a little more than that. This is all about extending Obamacare subsidies.
Obamacare subsidies that were enhanced during COVID.
Right. And applying
These were basically COVID subsidies.
And from what I understand, applying them also to illegal immigrants, correct?
They're accessible to anyone.
Right. Okay. So the Republicans want to stop that, obviously.
Anytime the government subsidizes or pays for something, that industry inflates prices. So we saw it with college tuition, where
housing.
Now the government is paying people's loans, they're helping kids go to college, and so what do universities do?
Why do you think houses?
They raise prices.
Why do you think
that's
houses?
Also what's happening with insurance.
Right.
Now that the government's paying for it, insurance companies are like, oh, we can inflate prices. So
right.
I love healthcare, I think it's great, but when you have this sort of vicious cycle where the government spends more money, insurance companies raise prices, that's a really problematic cycle. And that's something that we should be talking about.
Trump tried to get rid of Obamacare and it failed. I mean, this sort of thing is a third rail. But again, get back to why
Obamacare was supposed to solve all these problems, and now I think it's an admission that it's actually
a joke. But think about what is the short-term rationale for Chuck Schumer. He will extend benefits to illegal immigrants because he knows his biggest competitor is probably AOC to be the senior senator, for that Senate seat. She wouldn't be the senior senator. She would be the junior senator if she won, because I think Kristen Gillibrand would be the senior senator, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is interesting. Timothy Mellon came out, he wrote a $130 million check to pay troops. Like, the Trump administration has been trying to the extent that they can to soften the blow for some people, but food stamps now, those benefits will end Saturday. I am shocked how many people are on food stamps. Tens of millions of people on food stamps.
Part of me is like, they're freeloaders, but the other part of me realizes we've never really dealt with inflation. So
I know.
Biden took inflation up 9%, right? So we're starting at this. level. The rate of inflation came down to 3%. So you're still getting increases.
Prices haven't gone down. They're where they are. They're just not increasing as rapidly.
But anyway, that's where we are right now with the country. Inflation and the tariffs kick in for that.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason. It's still a problem. So you remember, when you hear people on food stamps, that's one of the reasons why. I wanted to talk about Comcast only because Brian Roberts is such a lefty. He ran MSNBC, right? Comcast owned it until recently. By the way, they're spinning it off.
He was a successful nepo baby, though, right?
Yeah.
His dad created this empire, and he's actually maintained it.
Yeah,
so.
and by the way, he gave Trump between.
him.
I reported last week he gave between as much as $10 million for the rebuild the White House, just when he wants to buy Warner Brothers.
Okay, so just briefly, everyone's critical of what it means that Trump is getting donations from various constituents to build the East Wing. That always happens with the campaign fund, with the inauguration fund.
I know, but this is
that always happens with the inauguration
This is a little different because Brian Roberts, listen, I reported that Trump...
Like, look at all the tech companies, and that always happens. Like, the inauguration fund is an opportunity
they want to kiss up to Trump.
Ingratiate yourself to the new candidate.
But this one was really sort of on the news because it's literally when Comcast wants to buy Warner Brothers, at least its streamer and its studio, where the Trump administration, through the Post, told us, we hate Brian Roberts, we don't want to give it to him. And then he turns around and writes a check for as much as $10 million for Trump's new grand ballroom. I just love it. That's only in America. Anyway, that's all I got for this week.